When it comes to finding the right person in life, many people struggle with uncertainty, doubt, and frustration. They wonder when their time will come or if God has forgotten about them. But the truth is, God never forgets His children. He operates on a divine timeline that is far beyond human understanding. While we may want answers immediately, God is working behind the scenes, preparing the right person at the right time. His plan is always perfect, and His timing is never late. What may seem like a delay is actually divine alignment. Imagine a farmer planting a seed. The seed doesn't sprout overnight. It takes time, nurturing, and patience. The same principle applies to your life partner. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean nothing is taking place. God is working in ways you cannot see, orchestrating events, shaping hearts, and aligning circumstances to bring the right person into your life at the appointed time. Every moment of waiting is not wasted, it is a part of the process. One of the most crucial things to understand is that God does not want you to settle for less than His best. Many people rush into relationships out of loneliness or fear, only to find themselves in situations that drain them emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. God wants more for you. He wants a relationship that will uplift, encourage, and help you grow into the person He has called you to be. That is why divine timing is essential. If God allowed you to meet the right person before you were ready or before they were ready, the relationship would not flourish in the way He intends. Sometimes God delays a relationship because He is still working on you. There may be things in your heart that need healing, habits that need breaking, or lessons that need learning before you can step into a healthy and God-ordained partnership. This is not a punishment, it is preparation. A diamond doesn't shine the moment it is found. It has to go through pressure, refining, and cutting before its true beauty is revealed. In the same way, God is refining you for something greater. He is molding you into the best version of yourself so that when the right person arrives, you will be fully ready to embrace the blessing. The same applies to the person God is preparing for you. They too may be going through a season of growth, learning valuable lessons, and drawing closer to God. The relationship God has in store for you will not be ordinary. It will be built on faith, trust, and divine purpose. That is why patience is key. Rushing ahead of God's plan can lead to unnecessary pain and disappointment. But when you trust in His timing, you will find that everything falls into place effortlessly. In the waiting season, your faith will be tested. There will be moments of doubt, loneliness, and even frustration. You may look around and see others getting into relationships, getting married, and building their families while you are still waiting. But remember, comparison is a trap. Your story is not meant to look like anyone else's because God's plan for you is unique. Just because something is happening for others doesn't mean you have been forgotten. If anything, it is a sign that God is in the neighborhood and your time is coming. One of the most powerful things you can do during this season is to focus on your relationship with God. Seek Him first, grow in faith, and allow Him to shape you into the person He has called you to be. The right partner will come not because you are searching desperately, but because you are aligned with God's purpose. When your heart is in the right place, when your focus is on God and not just a blessing, He will bring the right person into your life effortlessly. There will be a moment when you look back and realize why everything had to happen the way it did. You will understand why certain doors closed, why certain relationships didn't work, and why God made you wait. When that moment arrives, you will be grateful for His divine timing, because the person He brings into your life will be exactly what you prayed for, perhaps even more than you imagine. God is not late. He is not ignoring your prayers. He is preparing something far greater than you can see right now. And when the time is right, you will know without a doubt that His plan was worth the wait. There are moments in life when we question whether God is truly working behind the scenes for our good. We look around and see others moving forward in relationships, experiencing love, and building their lives, while we feel stuck, waiting, and unsure of what's to come. But what if I told you that your waiting season is not an accident? What if every delay, every closed door, and every moment of solitude is actually part of God's divine strategy? The truth is, God is intentional. He does not make mistakes. And when it comes to your life partner, He is orchestrating something far greater than you can comprehend. One of the biggest struggles people face is trying to understand why things are not happening in their desired time frame. Society often places pressure on us to meet certain milestones by a specific age, to be married, to have children, to establish a perfect life. But God's timeline is different. He is not bound by human expectations, and He will never rush something just because you feel behind. If God is making you wait, it is because He is preparing something special, something that requires patience, faith, and trust. Think about some of the greatest blessings in life. They are rarely instant. A tree does not grow overnight. A masterpiece is not painted in a day. The finest gold is refined in fire before it shines. In the same way, the relationship God has for you is being formed through a process, one that involves spiritual growth, emotional maturity, and divine alignment. God knows exactly what He is doing, and when He brings the right person into your life, it will be in a way that is undeniable. Many times when people become impatient, they take matters into their own hands. They force relationships, compromise on their values, and settle for less than what God intended. And often these rushed decisions lead to heartache, confusion, and regret. But when you wait on God, He not only provides, but He blesses abundantly. The person He has for you will not just be a good match. They will be divinely appointed to walk with you in purpose, to encourage you, and to build a life that honors Him. One of the most beautiful aspects of waiting on God is that He uses this time to shape you into the person you need to be. Sometimes the delay is not about finding the right person, it's about becoming the right person. There may be areas in your life that still need healing. There may be lessons you need to learn, habits you need to change, or faith you need to strengthen before you are ready for the relationship He has planned. God is not just preparing someone for you, He is preparing you for them. It's easy to believe that once we meet the right person, everything will fall into place effortlessly. But a successful relationship is not just about meeting the right person. It's about being ready to sustain a relationship that honors God. If you are not spiritually and emotionally mature, no matter how perfect the person may seem, the relationship will struggle. That is why God is taking His time, because He wants the best for you. He doesn't want you to have just any relationship. He wants you to have the one He has ordained for you. While you wait, it's important to trust that God has already written your love story. He has already determined when, where, and how you will meet the right person. Nothing you do can speed up His timing, but you can prepare yourself by drawing closer to Him, by focusing on your purpose, and by becoming the best version of yourself. The person God has for you will not be drawn to you because of desperation or impatience, but because they see God's hand in your life. God's promises never fail. When the time is right, He will open doors that no one can shut. He will bring the right person into your life in a way that is undeniable. And when that moment comes, you will realize that every moment of waiting was worth it. You will see that God was not withholding love from you. There is a powerful truth that many overlook. When God chooses someone for you, He also ensures that they recognize you in His perfect timing. You don't have to chase, beg, or convince them. The right person will see you for who you are and understand that you are meant to walk together in this journey of life. But what often happens is that doubt creeps in. You wonder if the person God has for you will truly know it's you. You question whether they might overlook you, choose someone else, or fail to recognize the blessing that you are. But here's the truth. God never allows His plans to fail. What He has ordained will always come to pass. When we look at biblical stories, we see that divine connections were always orchestrated at the right time. Ruth and Boaz didn't meet by accident. Rebekah was brought to Isaac by divine appointment. Even Mary and Joseph were aligned for a greater purpose. In each case, there was a process, a period of waiting, and moments where things seemed uncertain, but God's will prevailed. The same is true for you. The person He has chosen for you will not miss you because God does not make mistakes. One of the biggest traps people fall into is trying to force something that isn't meant for them. They become impatient and try to control the process. But love that is forced, manipulated, or built on insecurity will never last. That's why God doesn't just prepare the right person, He prepares both of you to recognize each other when the time is right. There are things that need to align, there are experiences that must shape you both, and there are lessons that need to be learned separately before you can come together. Sometimes God will keep the two of you apart for a season. You may feel ready, but God knows that there is more work to be done. He is shaping your faith, strengthening your character, and ensuring that when you do meet, you are able to love each other the way He intended. The relationship He has for you is not meant to be ordinary. It is meant to be a reflection of His love. And that kind of relationship requires patience, trust, and alignment with His will. It's easy to look around and wonder why others seem to find love so easily while you are still waiting. But comparison is dangerous. You don't know the full story of someone else's relationship. Some relationships look perfect on the outside but are struggling behind closed doors. Others may seem to have found love quickly, but without God's foundation, they face difficulties that you will never have to endure. When God is in the center of your love story, it is not rushed, it is not forced, and it is not confusing. There will be a moment when things shift. Suddenly, paths align, hearts connect, and what once seemed distant becomes clear. The person God has for you will begin to see you in a way they never did before. They will recognize the depth of your spirit, the strength of your faith, and the beauty of your heart. They won't be distracted by superficial attractions or fleeting emotions. They will see you through God's eyes. And when that happens, there will be no doubt. And you won't have to fight for their attention. You won't have to prove your worth. You won't have to convince them that you are the right choice. The right person chosen by God will know. They will cherish you, honor you, and love you in a way that reflects God's love for His people. It won't be perfect, but it will be divinely orchestrated. And when you look back, you will see that every moment of waiting, every unanswered prayer, and every delay was leading you to something far greater than you could have imagined. When God chooses someone for you, He doesn't just bring them into your life, He also ensures that both of you are fully prepared for the journey ahead. That preparation often involves a process that is not always easy to understand in the moment. It can feel like endless waiting, like being overlooked, or even like separation from the person you thought was meant for you. But everything God does has a purpose, and when He is at work, His timing is never wrong. The person He has chosen for you is being prepared in ways that you may not see, and when the time is right, there will be no confusion or uncertainty. Many people struggle with the idea of waiting because they assume that waiting means doing nothing, but that is not the case at all. When God is preparing you and your future partner, He is actively shaping both of you into the people you need to be for each other. This means that while you may not be together yet, God is working in their life, just as He is working in yours. He is refining their character, strengthening their faith, and helping them grow in ways that will make them a better partner when the time comes. The same thing is happening with you. God is teaching you patience, trust, and reliance on Him rather than on your own understanding. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that love should happen quickly. Society often pushes the narrative that if you don't find love by a certain age or within a certain time frame, then something is wrong. But that is not how God operates. His plan for your life is unique and His timeline is perfect. When you try to force things to happen on your own terms, you risk stepping outside of His will and settling for something less than what He intended for you. Many people rush into relationships out of fear of being alone, fear of missing out, or fear of not being chosen. But when you are walking with God, fear has no place in your decision making. The right person will come at the right time, and when they do, it will be clear. One of the most challenging aspects of trusting God's plan is letting go of control. Sometimes we think we know who the right person is, and we try to hold on to them, even when God is asking us to release them. We convince ourselves that if we just wait a little longer, they will change, or they will finally see our worth, but God is not the author of confusion. If someone is not recognizing your value now, if they are not treating you with respect, or if they are not aligning with God's principles, then they may not be the person He has chosen for you. And as painful as that realization may be, it is far better to release what is not meant for you than to hold on to something that will only bring heartbreak later. God's choice for your life will not require you to beg for love, chase after someone, or constantly question your worth. The person He has for you will see you clearly. They will understand your value, not because you had to prove it to them, but because God will reveal it to them. You won't have to wonder where you stand with them. You won't have to fight for a place in their life. When God orchestrates a relationship, there is peace. That doesn't mean there won't be challenges. Every relationship requires effort and commitment. But there will be a foundation built on faith, trust, and mutual respect. There is also an important aspect of spiritual alignment that cannot be ignored. When God chooses a person for you, it is not just about companionship, it is about purpose. The right person will not only love you, but they will also push you closer to God. They will encourage your faith, support your growth, and walk alongside you in your spiritual journey. This is why God takes time in bringing the right person into your life. He is not just looking at your present desires, He is looking at your future, your destiny, and your calling. The person He chooses for you will be someone who complements your purpose, who strengthens your walk with Him, and who helps you fulfill what He has called you to do. It can be difficult to trust this process, especially when you feel ready and nothing seems to be happening. But faith requires trust in what you cannot see. If you are still waiting, it is because God is still preparing. There is no wasted time in His plan. Every moment of waiting is an opportunity to grow, to strengthen your relationship with Him, and to prepare yourself for the blessing that is coming. The right person at the right time, in the right way, that is God's promise, and His promises never fail. When God has chosen someone as your life partner, the journey to being together is not always straightforward. It is not always easy, and it rarely happens the way you expect. But one thing is certain: when God's hand is upon something, nothing can stop it from coming to pass. His ways are higher than ours, His thoughts are greater than ours, and His timing is always perfect. The process of coming together with the one He has chosen for you is often filled with lessons, growth, and faith-building moments that are necessary for both of you to step into the relationship fully prepared. One of the most important aspects of recognizing the person God has chosen for you is alignment. This is more than just physical attraction or shared interest. It is a deep spiritual connection, a sense of purpose, and a divine confirmation that this is the person you are meant to walk with. God does not just bring two people together for companionship. He brings them together for His greater purpose. That is why He ensures that before you meet, both of you are in the right place spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Sometimes this requires isolation. Sometimes it requires heartbreak. Sometimes it requires waiting longer than you expected. But all of it is part of the preparation. You may have noticed that every significant relationship in the Bible came with a season of preparation. Before Esther was crowned queen, she underwent a year of preparation. Before Ruth met Boaz, she experienced loss, transition, and obedience to God's leading. Before Joseph reached his position of authority, he endured betrayal, imprisonment, and a long period of waiting. The same principle applies when it comes to your God-ordained relationship. Before He reveals that person to you fully, He ensures that you are ready. He ensures that your heart is in the right place, that your faith is strong, and that your trust is in Him rather than in your own understanding. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to force relationships that are not in God's plan. They try to hold on to people who are not meant for them. They try to make something work that was never meant to work. They settle for less because they fear being alone. But when God chooses someone for you, there is no need for force. There is no need to beg for love, to manipulate situations, or to convince someone to be with you. God's plan does not require desperation. It requires faith. When the right person comes into your life, there will be clarity, not confusion. There will be peace, not anxiety. That does not mean the relationship will be free from challenges, but it does mean that the foundation will be solid. A relationship that is ordained by God will always be built on faith, trust, and a shared vision. The right person will not distract you from your purpose, but will help you fulfill it. They will not pull you away from God, but will draw you closer to Him. They will not bring unnecessary drama or pain, but they will challenge you to grow, to love selflessly, and to build something that glorifies God. Many people struggle with waiting because they assume that if something is taking too long, it must not be God's will. But delay is not denial. Just because it has not happened yet does not mean it will not happen. God's timing is often different from what we expect, but it is always right. If you are still waiting, it is because He is still working. He is working on you, He is working on them, and He is orchestrating everything in a way that will be better than anything you could have planned for yourself. It is also important to recognize that when God is in the process of bringing two people together, the enemy will try to interfere. He will bring distractions. He will bring counterfeits. He will try to plant doubt, fear, and impatience in your heart. He will try to convince you that God has forgotten you, that you are missing out, or that you need to take matters into your own hands. But faith means trusting even when you do not see the full picture. It means believing that if God has promised it, then it will happen in His perfect time. Some people give up too soon. They let go of faith right before their breakthrough. But those who wait on the Lord, those who trust Him fully, those who refuse to settle, those are the ones who will see His promises fulfilled. God's plan is worth the wait. His choice is worth the patience. And when it happens, when the person He has chosen for you comes into your life, you will see why it had to happen this way. You will see why He asked you to wait. You will see why every delay, every test, every moment of uncertainty was leading you to something greater than you imagined. When God has chosen someone for you, nothing can stop it, not distance, not time, not obstacles. His will always prevails. Stay in faith. stay obedient, and trust that what He has prepared for you is greater than anything you could have chosen for yourself. When God chooses someone for you, the journey to that divine connection is often filled with unexpected turns, lessons, and moments of deep faith. You may not understand everything as it unfolds, but one thing is certain: when God is in control, nothing can stop what He has planned. Many people wonder why things take so long, why they face so many challenges, and why it seems like their love story is delayed, but God's process is never without purpose. He is not just preparing a person for you, He is preparing you for that person as well. Before He brings two people together, God ensures that both individuals have been shaped and refined through His process. That is why some people experience seasons of loneliness, disappointment, and even heartbreak before meeting the one He has chosen. These moments are not meant to break you, but to build you. They are meant to teach you patience, wisdom, and trust in God's timing. A relationship that is truly from Him requires two whole individuals, people who have been molded by His hands, strengthened by their faith, and refined by their trials. One of the biggest reasons why many people struggle in relationships is that they enter them before they are ready. They rush into commitments out of loneliness or desperation rather than waiting for the right person God has set aside for them. When God chooses someone for you, He does not want you to settle. He does not want you to compromise your values or lower your standards just because you are tired of waiting. He wants you to trust that His choice is better than anything you could choose for yourself. That is why His process often involves a period of isolation and personal growth. If you feel like you have been set apart, if it seems like relationships are not working out for you, or if you have faced rejection from people you thought were meant for you, understand that God is protecting you. He is keeping you from people who are not meant to be part of your future. He is removing distractions, counterfeits, and anyone who would lead you away from His purpose. When you finally meet the person God has chosen for you, there will be a sense of peace that surpasses understanding. You will not have to force anything. You will not have to chase them, beg for their attention, or struggle to keep them in your life. The right person will recognize your value. They will see you through God's eyes and appreciate you for who you truly are. The love between you will be built on trust, faith, and a shared purpose. It will not be based on temporary emotions or shallow attraction, but on a foundation that can withstand life's challenges. However, even when God chooses someone for you, the journey will not always be easy. There will still be trials, misunderstandings, and moments that require faith and patience. But the difference is that a relationship ordained by God is built to last. It is not easily shaken by hardships because it is rooted in something deeper than human feelings. It is rooted in a divine plan that has been in motion long before you even realized it. Many people give up too soon. They lose faith when things do not happen in their expected time frame, but God is never late. He is never too early either. He is always right on time. What He has written for you will happen at the appointed moment. No force in this world can stop it. No mistake you have made can cancel it. No obstacle is too great for God to overcome. So if you are still waiting, do not lose hope. Do not grow weary. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep preparing yourself for what is coming. When the right person enters your life, you will see why you had to wait. You will understand why certain doors had to close, why certain people had to leave, and why things did not work out the way you once hoped. It is because God had something better. He had someone specifically designed to walk this journey with you. A divine relationship is not just about companionship, it is about purpose. It is about building something that glorifies God. It is about two people who are aligned with His will, supporting each other, growing together, and fulfilling their God-given destinies. That is why He does not rush the process. That is why He takes His time, because what He is preparing is worth the wait. When the time comes, when you finally meet the person God has chosen for you, everything will make sense. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of waiting, it will all be worth it. Because what God writes, no one can erase. What He ordains, no one can cancel. And what He has planned for you will come to pass in His perfect time,